show where they asked the comedians, what was the worst advice you ever got? And I remember that like it was yesterday. It's about 30 years ago. I went on a date with this beautiful woman. A friend of mine said, listen, don't use protection. You're going to get lucky, you're going to get laid. Penicillin cures everything. No, it doesn't. What it didn't cure is that 30-year-old kid that still runs around my house calling me daddy. That's what penicillin doesn't cure. You too? Happened to you too? I know, bad fucking advice. I did, to help with the erectile dysfunction, I did get a surgical procedure. I got a Pez dispenser surgically implanted in my ass cheek. I really did. At Virtue in New Jersey, but anyway, we're not going to give them a plug. But anyway, what this device does is it dispenses testosterone as my body needs it. After the surgery, the doctor said in about 2 weeks, you're going to get some really good wood. And at the time, I wasn't dating anybody, so I said, Doc, you know, I'm not fucking anybody. Wood's probably just going to rot in the lumberyard. But now I'm dating, and I don't know if I came, so who the hell knows? I don't know. People think I'm stupid. My mother thought I was stupid when I was a little kid. So she bought me this stupid shirt that said, hello, my name is Joseph John. And I think back on that, and she was serving me up to the pedophiles on a silver platter with that stupid shirt. So I'm walking home from school after I wore it to school one day, and this weird guy in a van starts coming up next to me. He says, hey, Joseph John, why don't you get in the van? I've got some candy. Hey, Joseph John, why don't you get in the van? I've got a puppy. I didn't know who he was talking to. My mother was right. I didn't know my fucking name. I don't know if you notice, I have this nervous tick with a mic cord. It's no big deal. It's a nervous tick. But what's weird is I do it at venues with cordless mics, and that looks really weird. So I was working a venue with a cordless mic the other night, and after my set, a woman came up to me. She said, listen, I have to ask you, were you jerking off up on stage? I said no, and I explained to her about the tick and everything. But then I thought about it, and I looked at her and smiled, and I thanked her for thinking that my dick was that big. Even though I'm getting older, I'm still getting new things. I got a tit pic on my phone. Has anybody else ever gotten a tit pic on your phone? What's that? A woman's tits in a text on your phone? Yes? All right. Well, usually this is done between people who are having some sort of relations. This lady was just a friend. She was in the hospital and she asked me to bring her a sandwich, which I did. 2 days later, she sends me a tit pic. I say, thank you. Why? I said, I just wanted to thank you for bringing me food while I was in the hospital. I thought about it and I said, if I sent a dick pic to everybody that's ever brought me food, I'd still be in prison. Oh gosh, you guys are fun. This is nice being away from the drones. I still have this hat on looking up, I apologize. So, has anybody ever gotten hotboxed? Just me, right? So what that is you get a contact high when you're in a room with marijuana smoke and there's no ventilation. And I performed at a venue where people were allowed to smoke pot, and there was no ventilation. And I don't smoke pot, I don't drink, I had no idea what was going on. I should have never gotten in my car after the show. A 30-minute drive, I'm in my car 3 hours, wondering where the hell am I? So I finally pull over, I sit in my car for a little bit, and I put my address and my GPS on my phone, and I hit start. It said that I arrived at my destination. I was sitting in my own driveway for like a half an hour. It was nasty, nasty stuff. I'm dating now, but I was single when I joined all the dating sites, and I got kicked off of all the dating sites for telling the truth. You guys can see I'm a sawed-off Guido, 5'5", 5'6", but I can't stand the tall women on those sites that say, hey, listen, if you're not as tall as me, don't even send me a message. So I send them a message. And this is what I send them. Listen, I'm not as tall as you, but I have a really big dick, and I could give you the ride of your life. They report me, I get kicked off. One woman, beautiful, 6'3", she gets back to me, she says, baby, what would you do to me with that big dick? I said, I would climb you like a tree, I would make you see God, and I'd have you screaming for more. She said, baby, that sounds really good. Now what are you gonna let me do to you if my dick's bigger? So I reported her to the service for false advertising. They kicked me off for saying I had a big dick. I even showed them I had a big dick and stuff. Oh gosh. So my family used to own a diner. And does anybody ever work in a kitchen, food service kitchen? You have to be a little loopy, or it makes you loopy. And you have to do fun things to keep somewhat sane while you're back there. And one day my mother brings this lady and a little girl back to the kitchen. And I don't know why, but you know, she brought them back. The little girl said to me, she said, those were the best pancakes I ever ate. And I leaned down and I said, that's because we put LSD in the pancake batter. It took 3 cooks to pull the mother off of me. I still feel her hands wrapped around my neck. It was scary. It was scary. And it was only a joke, because I think that day we put the LSD in the French toast batter. It's closed, but I still have the LSD, like a share. So, listen, can I get back to the subject of tits? You go with that? All right. I'm going to ask you another question. It's probably just going to be me. Has anybody ever gotten a titty whipping? Okay. Now, I'm not talking about a motorboat, you know, between the tits. I'm talking about like a full frontal facial assault by a pair of boxing glove titties. Just me again, right? Yeah. One of them got hot box, one of them got a tit pick, yeah, right? So anyway, my family had the diner, and my mother had this habit of pissing off the employees. So one night she pissed off the head cook. This guy goes storming out, and I thought, if he doesn't come in tomorrow, I'm gonna have to do his job and my job. So what I did is I, tracked him down. He was at a strip club getting a lap dance. So I'm sitting there and I'm talking to him. He says, okay, I'll be back at work. Stripper gets up, starts walking over to me. I said, listen, I'm not here for that. I just had to talk to this guy. I think you need a titty whipping. It's like a 3D movie. These big flabby things engulfed my head and started shaking. You ever see like how a shark shakes its food? That's what she was doing to my head. That's a good visual, right? That's really what happened. So the next thing I remember, I'm in the ambulance with a concussion. And they're going over my injuries. I had a dislocated jaw, a broken nose, and they said if her tits were any bigger, I would have had 2 black eyes. So at least I got away with not having that. So I went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, about a year ago, by myself, and I was getting bored hanging around the pool, so I did a little sightseeing. And I came across this town, Wilton Manors. Anybody know Wilton Manors?
No.
People just stay in Delaware? Or where the hell, Pennsylvania, where the hell you are? So, no, I like her answers. I want her to answer. You're welcome. We're going to have some LSD after this. So anyway, Wilton Manors is the 2nd gayest town in America. Now, I'm not gay, or so I think, but I decided I was curious and I wanted to go have a drink at a gay bar in Wilton Manors. So I'm sitting there minding my own business. This guy comes up to me and says, how much? How much what? How much hair do you have under that shirt? Nobody's ever asked me that question before. I had no idea how to answer it, so I lifted up my shirt and I show him. Now he starts petting my chest. I figure, okay, I'll be his little Italian shithead for a while, maybe I'll get a free drink. But I say, not below the equator, I'm not gay. So he came up to me and said, sweetie, if you ever want to switch teams, you give me a call. I'd love to be your coach. And he gives me his number. And he starts walking away. Then he stops and he looks back at me. He said, When you were a little kid, did you have a shirt that said, "Hello, my name is Joseph John"? I found out that night that he really did have a puppy. But no, really, people at my gym think that I'm gay. I do CrossFit. Anybody do CrossFit? I think I'm doing it though, because everybody, I've been doing it for 10 years, and people in my gym are beautiful, beach bodies and everything. You know, I have more like a beached whale body. So they go into this cold tub, and they wanted me to try it. So I stuck my foot in, I screamed like a little girl, and my coach said, "Did you get anything from that?" And I said, "Yeah." I now know what it feels like for the people on the Titanic that didn't make it to the lifeboats. Thank you, guys. My name is Joe Scoracca. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Here we go for Joe Scoracca.